Okay, yeah. Can we have the slides, please? Okay, yeah, sorry. Forgot that I have the clicker. Yeah. My name is Sunil Gupta. I represent a company called Yotta. I'm the co-founder, MD, and CEO there. And the topic I'm speaking is, I'm from India. I live in Mumbai. My data centers are in places like Mumbai and Delhi. The topic I'm speaking is building India's sovereign hyperscale cloud with CloudStack ecosystem. A little bit of background. I have been in the industry for almost 32 years, but out of the 32 years, 25 years since I think the time internet coming in, data centers coming in, I have been building data centers from small-scale data centers of 2-3 megawatt to nowadays data center campuses which can go into gigawatts. I have lived this journey. And Yotta, we started about 6 years back. And the whole aim was that the way the digital journey is happening in India for last so many years, it requires massive, massive infrastructure. It not only required data centers, it required data center campuses with lots of power, lots of fiber, lots of space. And we saw hyperscalers coming in, in around 13, 14. We thought that if we can build campuses, with lots of data centers and lots of power and fiber, we can possibly catch on this wave and deliver that infrastructure. So I built data centers in Mumbai. We run a campus. And that was in 2020 at the peak of COVID. And then in 2022, we launched another campus in Delhi and hosting some of the hyperscalers there. But more importantly than these data center campuses and this power cooling space infrastructure, what we also did was that while co-location is good and we'll be able to serving the needs of hyperscalers and some of the banks to host co-location, give them space. But the real thing is if we can serve thousands of enterprises, startups, and communities with cloud services. So we decided that as a part of our business model, not only we build campuses with power, space, and cooling, but within the same campuses, we also build our own public cloud service. We also deliver private clouds. We also deliver a whole lot of federated cloud solutions and managed services on the top of that. So that is where this whole journey started. And before I go deeper into why we got into this, just giving you the background perspective of all this. And the perspective is this unique opportunity called India. India has been an economy on the roll for the last 10 years or more. We are all growing at a CAGR of more than 8% in our GDP every year. We are more than 1.5 billion people. But more important than this number, there's more number of mobile phones in India today than this population, right? And out of that 1.5 billion mobile phones in India, around 660 million are smartphones, which essentially mean that every one of that 660 million people are creating and consuming content literally every single minute. And that power in the hands of every single consumer in India, right, to consume content and create content is becoming a huge market for anybody and everybody who is creating applications either for improving the life of somebody in the personal space or improving the life of somebody in the professional or the office space. And that is the opportunity on which we are sitting in. Now, we say in India that there are three perspectives you can see in India. From India, for the world. First, India has been a huge technology resource for the whole of the world for the last 3 decades. Even if I see purely from AI perspective, which is the latest fad of the day, we are around 1.25 million workforce, which is trained on AI, which is working on some very good innovative startups and research labs. 16% of the world's AI talent, which is represented by this 1.25 million people, is actually residing in India, sitting in Indian tech companies. And by the way, this is increasing at a feverish pace because every year we are producing more than 1 million people who are actually technically skilled people. We have 240 GenAI startups, and if you see the overall startups, it is 6,200. And by the way, this number of startups have come to this number just in the last 1 year. And if you see, even from a data center point of view, a market which was just about 200 megawatt in 2015, today we have become about 1.2 gigawatt, which is like 6 times more in the last 8-9 years. And we are expected to become about 3 gigawatt by 2030. So even in terms of the infrastructure, which is supposed to be hosting this whole digital wave, which is also supposed to be hosting all these GPUs, and GPUs will be coming and running the AI wave. From that infrastructure point of view also, India is practically becoming one of the largest markets in the world. And the good part is, which is the concern with everybody when we talk data centers, and we were seeing the last presentation by John about the power requirement, India as a country is power surplus country. The power we need, we produce more than that. And another important thing, more than 50% of that power in India is green power. It's more of solar, it's more of hydro, it's more of wind. So essentially, when we start putting these data centers to the use for running the AIs and GPUs and clouds and everything, we are also taking care of one take, that we are not growing at the expense of climate. We are also taking care of climate at the same time. So that is why you should have AI or cloud and all these things from India. For India, as I said, because of our population, because of the population carrying smartphones, because of enterprises adopting cloud like crazily, we are one of the topmost potential markets for cloud. For cloud, we are already one of the largest market, but even for AI, we are expected to become one of the largest market. Essentially, at the end of the day, AI will result into some agents which we don't see, but they are doing something for us, or it will result into some apps which will be coming on our mobiles. So if there are so many people who are carrying those smartphones in the hands, any and every AI-driven app will become popular with this huge market. So that is why, if you are doing something in India, you already have a ready-made market available to you. And the third is, we always say the opportunity in India is serving the market of India, but also serving from India to the world. Why? In the last 3 decades, India has been the software and services leader. 13% of the IT software export worldwide is done by India. Around 1550 of the large global tech companies have their back offices, which they call as global capability centers, are running from India, and they're producing services worth almost $100 billion per year. And of course, when we are talking about AI, what is important is data sets. Do you have the right data sets to train your AI models? And in India, with our thousands of years of history, with so much of population, and with more than 300 languages in which we are talking, the amount of data which we already have, possibly in different formats, which need to be digitized, of course, and of course, the data which we are creating every single minute, with huge digitization, with the digital payments being done through our mobiles and everything, the amount of data we have, we want to build AI model, whether it is B2B or B2C or government to citizens or whichever model we want to create, the data sets for every use case is available in India. So that also makes that India is not only a great place where we can build our businesses, tech businesses, we can serve India itself as a huge market. It's a huge market, but India also becomes a very, very potential ground that from India, you can also serve the rest of the world. And that is the context, when I'm saying that we as Yotta are trying to build something in India, a sovereign cloud or an AI cloud, that is the sort of the framework behind that. Now, one of the things we caught very early on, and we built our business on, was the need for sovereignty. Let me give you some context. Cloud, I think, came in everybody's life around 2008-9, right? AWS, which was a books store, became the cloud company. VMware came in, Hyper-V came in, I think 2008-9. I was running a data center business in India, and me, along with many other operators in India, we thought, oh, this is a business for data center operators. Besides selling our co-location and, at that time, dedicated hosting and shared hosting, let's also start selling virtualization. We built our cloud businesses, took a couple of servers, put VMware, put Hyper-V, started selling some cloud services to the market, and market grabbed it.
The market increase became very large. Hyperscalers who were by that time were not serving Indian market, they realized if they want to serve this large market called India, they will have to come and put their regions and clusters in India. So 2013-14, they started exploring India. Now, by that time, there was no hyperscaler. There was no Amazon, there was no Google, there was no Azure. And we all were pretty happy selling virtualization, not real cloud, right? And we were making our good business. By the time 2015, hyperscalers came, and we as DC operators could not realize that we are actually going to co-locate our own competitors, right? We pretty happily gave them a whole lot of co-location spaces to run their cloud. By 2015-16, when Amazon launched, followed by Azure and followed by Google, I say our shops closed within 3 months. Because the type of great quality cloud services, the size, the scale, the variety, the user experience, which hyperscaler brought in, none of us in India as cloud operators actually had attempted doing that. We were just sleeping. And that is, I always say, is an opportunity lost. We had all the right thing going for us. We were running data centers, we knew technology, we are a technology people. We could have built great cloud thing, we had a great market. We could have become our own hyperscale cloud operator serving our own country and rest of the world. We never did that. So today the situation is both in terms of market share and in terms of mind share, hyperscalers are ruling, right? You are not able to compete with them. Now, along with this, what we are finding out is, there is, like we saw in the previous presentation, there's a whole lot of, whether it is a VMware moment, everybody want to come away from there, don't want to get stuck with a private proprietary software where the prices suddenly increase, or whether it is a need for private cloud because of, again, spiraling cost of hyperscalers or any other reason. And also, very importantly, because of the geopolitical conflicts which we are seeing across the world, where countries have the potential to get isolated if they are not following a particular A pole or the B political pole in the world. And India, I think many countries in the world are following that. India also happens to be in that situation, where they are feeling the need that we need to be sovereign. We should be able to decide our own technical destiny. When we are automating our country digitally, practically anything and everything in India we want to run digitally, we should not suddenly become dependent on somebody that tomorrow, if they switch off their services, right? CrowdStrike, by the way, it was a manual and human error. It was not a deliberate thing by anybody. But that was a reminder to all of us that if somebody does deliberately to us, suddenly we'll see our governments, enterprises, schools, hospitals, malls going down because somebody did something, they were against us. And that is where I think this narrative has got built up in the last couple of years. Very, very subtle, nobody talks about it very openly, that we should be safeguarding our data sovereignty, we should be safeguarding our cloud sovereignty. Not only data localization is important, that your data should be within your shores. Your machines, which actually are running that data, the control over that machines, how do you design them, how do you engineer them, what type of data you are putting into if you're building AI models, and who is operating them, who is controlling them, should be within those set of people who are following the law of the land, who don't get conflicted with the law of the land versus the law of their own parent organization or the headquarters where their company is restricted. And that is where we actually started. When we started building Yotta, as I said, we started building cloud. We decided that, okay, it might be a difficult journey to have the market and mind share from hyperscalers now, but we should attempt. I may not build 300 services, I may build 50 services, but I will build it with scale, I will build it with security, I will build it with compliances, and I will build it with a great user experience. If I can do that, I will get, for example, the regulatory bodies, the government bodies as my potential customers, and gradually many, many stakeholders who possibly are not happy with hyperscalers, possibly because of their egress charges or because of many other reasons, who otherwise were trying to move to a managed service provider who can give them private cloud, public cloud, a whole solution, who can take care of them better. Possibly that is where I can find the market. And that is where this whole concept of Yotta starting cloud came in. And obviously that is where, I'm just giving some details that is where we started thinking that we should basically, we should build our own cloud in India, which is feature-rich, which is scalable, which is secure, which is compliant, but most importantly, it is completely following the laws of the land. Whatever I'm doing for India, obviously it applies to any other country, and we can see those waves. So that is where this whole thought of Yotta coming in. What we are doing as Yotta is, to start with, we are fundamentally a data center company. The promoter behind me is a large real estate infrastructure company, which own large parcels of land, acres and acres of land. They have access to power. They know how to take approvals and permitting. They know how to put ducts, connecting highways, bringing fiber into the data centers and things like that. And we have sort of combined that expertise of infrastructure with expertise of people like us who come from the technology and digital background. And with this, we are having this combined capability that we not only are building this data center campuses ourselves, but on the top of that, if somebody wants pure data center co-location, we obviously give it, like a Google coming in, or like a bank coming in, or a Amazon coming in. But at the same time, and more importantly, we have delivered cloud services there. So from the same data centers, while one part of my data center, let's say some floors in my data center, or one building may be giving as a co-location to a hyperscaler, but the second part of the data center is separate floor, a separate building, is something where I'm running my own cloud services. And because we are a managed service provider within ourselves, we not only are giving cloud, but everything which the customer needs right from the time he says, oh, I have a problem in my current infrastructure, can you come assess it, give me a solution, and then build a solution which is a part of your public cloud, give me a dedicated private cloud, combine these two, possibly use some of the services from Amazon also, and give me a fully managed solution with cybersecurity. So that is what essentially we as Yotta are doing. And as I said that, we found great success when we started dealing with government. Government of India, because of the reasons I talked to you about, they actually have got two bodies in Government of India. One is called STPI, Software Technology Park of India, and another body called NIC, National Informatics Center. Now, these two bodies have been traditional data center hosting providers owned by government, and they are using this role for last 30 years. Now, anything and everything of government, whether it is Government of India, central government, or whether it is different states in India, everybody is hosting their mission-critical applications into these data centers. Now, because these were government-owned, possibly they did not follow the technology wave, they did not innovate themselves, they did not evolve themselves, they could not catch up with the needs, because government today is digitizing itself much, much faster than even private sector in India. So these two bodies could not sort of, I would say, keep pace with what government wanted to do. So in 2017-18, these two bodies, the government opened up that government applications can also be hosted into private cloud operators. So that was a loss to these bodies, right? And today, many of the very large applications of government, including taxes, including passports, including many other citizen-facing applications, are running in private hyperscalers. But government don't want that. Because they are not getting good services from these two bodies, that's why they have to go to hyperscalers. So what government did just 3-4 years back, asked these bodies that, guys, you hand over the operations of your data centers to a third party, which is a private party, who not only will run these data center operations very, very professionally with the right practices, framework, tools, and processes, but also will build a sovereign cloud within these data centers and will run it. They will invest, they will manage, they will design, they will operate, and they will earn out of that. That is the sort of opportunity which came in India. And Yotta, because we were like carrying all these credentials of data center and cloud, and we were talking sovereign all the time, we got the opportunity, and today we actually got both these contracts, huge, practically unlimited value contracts, where we have built, we not only have taken over the operations of this Government of India data centers, but we are in the process of putting up our CloudStack based, open source based clouds in the data centers of these two government organizations to serve the government demands. So this is the first such cloud which we have put up. This is like Yotta Cloud, but we renamed it because it is still to be sold in the name of the government. They call it Ananta. Ananta is a Hindi or Sanskrit word for limitless. It's unlimited. So it's Ananta Cloud, but essentially what we have done, developed in the partnership with STPI, it is running in their own data centers, right? It is our cloud, white labeled as Ananta, but running in their own data centers. We have done the complete design engineering. We have invested into all the hardware, software tools. Our people are sitting in there and managing it remotely also. We are doing it. And we promised to the government, we actually are ensuring now, obviously using CloudStack, using many other tools, we are giving, right from basic compute, storage, networking, backup, a whole lot of AI, ML, not only bare metal and cluster service, but also the platform services on the top of AI, ML, full lot of disaster recovery, cloud management, and cybersecurity services. And this is something which has suddenly, I would say the government suddenly now is feeling, oh, wow, now within government, we have an operator who we can directly go and host our applications and workloads. We really don't need to now go to the third-party cloud operators. So what we essentially have done with this is you remain within the framework of the government because you are still working under the umbrella of a government body. You are working in their data center. But we also promise that in case, while we will run your data center very professionally, the way we run our own data centers, but in case those data centers fell short of space, we will extend the network of those data centers to our own data centers and will keep on serving you all these cloud services. So essentially, in one shot, they are able to not only get limitless cloud services, which are also sovereign completely in their control, but they're also able to deliver that with a whole lot of user experience, great user experience, and all the functionality which they were asking for. And this, by the way, includes this cloud. By the way, not only includes general cloud, but it also includes now GPUs and the AI services also. Whether somebody wants to do some training of small models, or whether they want to put their AI models for inferencing, we have put up a marketplace so people can just use some popular model like Llama and things like that, and they start building their AI models and start putting them for use cases. This is the second body. The first body was STPI. The second body is of Government of India, is NIC. In fact, this is very, very large organization, right? Practically, you can assume that anything and everything of Government of India, including state governments, run in these data centers. And here, the work is still in progress. By January, we are supposed to go live, putting our cloud in NIC, in 2 of their data centers in Delhi and a city called Pune. And once this cloud goes live, this will become one of the largest deployment of a government cloud infrastructure. It is more or less on the pattern of how US and EU have done, which are special purpose-based government clouds. And of course, as I said, that this has been designed in a way that it is like combining both the things. Government wanted its own data centers, government wanted its own cloud, they wanted its own controls, it wanted its own compliances, they wanted their own private network to terminate on that. All those things are satisfied, but at the same time, they're getting access to a private party like us, who is now going to run these data centers, who has deployed a sovereign cloud, not a VMware cloud or not an Amazon cloud, and who is still running it on a professional way with the right user experiences. We have been using CloudStack. As we said, the whole foundation of our public cloud journey was sovereign. And sovereign was, again, as we said, that we don't depend on others for our own destiny, right? And one of the things was you don't use third-party cloud services, and as much as possible, you don't use proprietary software tools. And that is where the VMware avoidance came. And today we feel possibly it got vindicated when we found what is happening with VMware. We realized that possibly this was the right steps. So as much as possible, we are trying to build our cloud where we are able to control the design, engineering, and tools, and we are able to operate them, we are able to upgrade them, and we have friendly alliances with people who themselves are working on open source technologies. And our journey for our partner Indicus, who actually deployed this CloudStack with us, and just a few weeks back, we then acquired. All my Indicus colleagues are here in this room. We acquired Indicus, as a company who were practically married to CloudStack technology. So what we have done is that now we, as a cloud company now, we are completely married, whether it is cloud running in my own data centers, whether it is cloud which we have developed in STPI, whether it is a cloud which we have deployed in NIC. All these cloud environments are running on CloudStack ecosystem, and obviously reasons is something you all understand maybe far more than me. Very, very easy, quick to deploy, easy to operate. You are able to orchestrate most of the services very easy. And that is something which is very, very important, because we are not just building cloud for somebody and handing it over to them. I'm an operator myself, so I'm not only supposed to develop my cloud services, but I'm supposed to then run it 24/7. That is where your L1s, L2s, and L3 engineers come in. So how easy I make it for my operators and also my end customers to use the cloud services was very important. And of course, this whole complementary system, in the next slide I'll show that we are using the services of many of you. The whole complementary ecosystem which CloudStack is bringing in, whether for storage management or whether for network management or whether for APIs management, comes very, very handy that we are able to deliver all the services. And this is something which was very, very important, scalability, because once, again, given the scale at which India operates, once these cloud services become popular, whether in my data centers or in STP or in NIC, the size and scale will become humongous. So whether my platform can scale to meet all those demands was something very, very important, and we understand that CloudStack delivers on that promise as well. And of course, this is something, the value which we cherish, that either we develop everything in-house or whether we go for open source so that the dependence on third-party proprietary tools is not there. So this is the stack we are using. Right now I'm calling it GovCloud. This is something we have developed, put in STPI. This is something we have put in NIC. But the same stack is running and operating in my own data center also. So at the center of this is CloudStack, which is helping me orchestrate most of the resources. We are using Storepool for our block storage, for automating high-performance block storage. We are using Netris for network. By the way, this is something I was having a dinner meeting with Netris team, Alex and team yesterday night. And this is something which has come very, very handy for us, because just imagine that we are running two environments now. One is our general purpose compute environment, where possibly Ethernet is there for most of the north-south traffic. But now we also have huge clusters of GPUs. We have got this H100s of NVIDIA, and we are following the NVIDIA's reference architecture, where the GPUs connected to each other through InfiniBand. Right? Now, Netris is helping us orchestrate not only the Ethernet part, but also the InfiniBand part. So suddenly, the whole of network orchestration, the network management piece, becomes very, very easy for us. With a single tool, we're able to manage the network orchestration as well. And of course, Epicurus is the orchestration layer developed by Indicus. This is something which is sitting on the top of all of this, making the journey of whether it's my own administrator, whether it's customer's administrator, whether it's the end users, to use my services very, very easy. And this is, as I said, it is the journey. We have started building up, we have started scaling it up. Possibly we are right now delivering 50-odd services, but the idea is, can I deliver 300 plus services in next 2 years? And actually become a hyperscaler in my own right, delivering every single service for which customers otherwise go to a hyperscale cloud operator. So of course, with this, we have sort of promised to deliver everything which the government stakeholders are asking for, whether it is security, whether it is efficiency, whether it is every single solution which the government was asking for, and of course, integration. By the way, in we are not only putting in the solutions for public cloud implementations, but in many of the customer implementations, customers want our stack to be delivered on a private cloud model or in a hybrid cloud model, and we are pretty happy doing that. So we have got implementations of our Epicurus running in private cloud stack, obviously the same thing running in a public cloud stack, and some people asking for a very seamless working between the two. And many of the government implementation, by the way, are asking for that as much as possible you deliver resources and services from your own cloud, but whichever services you are not able to deliver today, but they are available, let's say, with AWS So we are not saying we cannot go to AWS. We are actually orchestrating those services on AWS and giving a single network, single enterprise network solution to the end customers. So, yeah, so this is what it is, that this is our cloud. We have kept it fully compliant to whether it's compliances by Government of India, the ministry, or the global compliances, with all the flexibility, scalability, performance, and cost effectiveness. We also are trying to drive innovation in our own way. We launched, in the last couple of months, we have launched these programs. One is with the industry body called NESCOM in India. Along with NESCOM, we launched a program called Shambho. This is something which is giving credits to startups to build their cloud products and build their AI models and applications. And recently, because we also happen to be NVIDIA's elite partners, we are practically the shop for NVIDIA in India. So along with NVIDIA, we launched another program which helps NVIDIA's Inception Connect partners to use our services to build their AI models and applications. So in our own way, while we are obviously putting in money to build this infrastructure, sovereign infrastructure in India, but just to increase the adoption of these services and getting startups to start developing, because once this startup developer community start using our cloud, we know we have won the war. So that is something which we are trying to do in such a way. Yeah. So ultimately, as I said, this is a journey which is just going on. We have not reached where we want to be. This is just a starting. I'm using this platform, my reason to come on this platform, because first of all, I'm using the services of all of you. We are using CloudStack, we are using Storepool, we are using Netrest, and we are planning to use the services of this community as much as we can to bring in variety, flexibility, and features into our platform. The market is huge, as I said, right? We cannot grow unless we have the support and services of this whole ecosystem. The market as India is huge. It's unlimited market. And from India, we surely have plans to serve other markets also, like a Middle East market, like a Eastern Europe market. There are big markets out there which possibly are underserved. So if we are able to take this whole concept of building data centers, building sovereign clouds, building GPU clouds, and take it on a service model to some of the markets, we feel we have a whole lot of scope together, to grow this whole ecosystem. So this is my call to action for this entire community. Let's work together and please help us in building these cloud services. Thank you so much.